Kobe! Kobe!
No one over there. All right, good. Nice job.
When I meet people for the first time and they ask me what I do for a living, and I say I'm a camp director, you see the smile come over their face. It's hard not to, because what do you hear in that instant? You hear camp, and you think back to that moment when you were a child. Everyone learns huge life lessons as a part of their experience in camp, and that is something that everyone deserves to experience. What are you going to learn from camp? What are you going to get from camp? And how is it going to shape you in your future?
The only thing that I really want for Jamison is for her to have a typical experience, for her to feel included, for her to have all the joys in life that my other children have, that all children have. And Camp JCC sounded like exactly that. The ability for her to be in an inclusion program with an aide to help her do everything, and to be a kid for the summer. No therapy, just pure camp fun, being a kid, and that's what we got. Jamison doesn't get to do anything that typical children get to do. She's not on a sports team. She doesn't have sleepovers. She doesn't get to run around on the playground. This summer, this camp, this program, she gets to have every experience that every other child gets to have. For her, this is the dream come true.
Are you ready to skip around the time? Yeah. Noah's already skipping. Here we go. Skip around the time.
Camp is magical. It's a place where kids know that they can come and just be kids. It's the only 7 weeks where they just get to be kids. And I feel like it's our job to give them that. And for the kids in the inclusion program, oftentimes it's the only place that they are seen for who they are and not their disability. Everybody just gets to come here, and it doesn't matter how you get to camp, and it doesn't matter how you communicate. Everyone just gets to come here and be a kid.
The JCC was a saving grace for us. Solika went to a different camp one year, and they claimed to be and have an inclusion program, but it wasn't an inclusion program that could handle Solika. Here at the JCC, I really feel like they really get to know these kids. To be able to find a counselor that can be with her and that can handle her, you know, you have to have that right personality.
You'll never bother me anyway.
From the first moment that we met Solika's buddy last summer, it was love at first sight for the two of them.
I actually went to camp here when I was little, and some of my best friends growing up were in the inclusion program, so I knew that I needed to come back, and as an inclusion counselor, I love working with Solika. She is like my best friend. We've bonded over Frozen. She loves to sing, and I love to sing, so she's just so cute.
My children have come home developing friendships and learning about other children's needs in a much deeper and more profound way than they have been able to have in any other environment. As a parent, there's only so much that we can do in terms of talking to our children about what we value. And having a camp community that actually lives it day in, day out is something that is rare and should be cherished. At the end of the day, we are really hoping for long-term outcomes. You know, we're looking for a more inclusive, more accepting society, and I'm optimistic.
Well, one of my best friends, Dylan, she is in a wheelchair right now, and sometimes I'll just forget because it doesn't slow her down in any way. My friendship with her is just the same as it would be with other kids who might not be in a wheelchair. I don't think of her any differently, and she's like one of my greatest friends. I do look forward to it when I wake up in the morning because I know it's going to be fun. It is special because I don't usually get to see her during the year. We FaceTime, but we don't see each other like during the year.
We just couldn't even imagine what this would be for us, that he could come here and be fully integrated and have a place, and not just a place that he ages out of at age 12, 13, 14, like other centers for typically developing children, but a place that he can stay until he's 21.
The Cocoa Bean program also used to be called the Senior Program. There are so few options for teens with disabilities during the year, and in the summer, even less. And so many of these teens have been coming here since they were 5 or 6 years old. So to tell them at age 12, you can't go to your camp anymore, and you don't have other options either, and now you're gonna stay home, would be tragic.
This is the only camp my child can go to. My 14-year-old child would sit at home all summer if he didn't come to Camp JCC.
There's this positive energy that you get. Everybody seems so upbeat and happy and so just great with Sebastian. And the way that I see it always is anybody who's good to my son is always good on my books.
The first week that my son was in camp, I was so overwhelmed by how the kids were responding to him and opening up to him in such a short amount of time, and how all the joy that he has and the love that he has and the desire to connect with his peers was finally finding a place where it can be expressed and reciprocated. For him to finally find a place where kids are coming up to him and giving him high fives, and he's not the one, kind of in vain trying to connect with people with nothing coming back. It was just a miracle. It's hard as a parent to watch your kid try and fail to connect with other kids, and for him to find a place where he's finally able to make those connections was just a gift and a blessing. This camp isn't just for the kids with special needs. The fact that, typically developing kids are getting to interact with kids that are different from them, this camp is grooming kids to be kind of ambassadors to go out in the world, to create a more caring and understanding world that will be accepting of everyone.
The cost associated with having a special needs child is through the roof. Having the ability to send our children to camp just like everybody else with no additional cost to have a special aid with them is the most beautiful gift ever.
We hate that money is a driving force, but it is. It costs camp a lot of money to be able to make sure that everyone gets to participate. And I would hate to have to tell a family that their child can't come to camp because we didn't have enough money to support them.
There is nothing like the JCC. So in order to truly give these kids a chance at an amazing summer, and they so incredibly deserve it, this is where the money needs to go.